Lower Kern River is number 7 on the list of the top 10 most endangered rivers in the U.S. This is according to an annual list put together by American Rivers, which is a national group advocating for rivers and clean water. The list was started in 1984, and since then, the lower part of the Kern River has been on it in 1986, 1998, and 1990. 23 ABC's Vonnie Patino spoke with the American Rivers Group, plus local organizations in the water debate about the new report results. She joins us live now in Central Bakersfield with more. Vanya.
That's right, Brianna. We'll most recognize Beach Park here as a popular place for cyclists, but right next to this bike path right behind us, is the lower part of the Kern River, which is what made that list. But the irony is that also, as you can see, there is no river there. It's all dried.
It's either the water is really over allocated, so there just isn't enough water that we let go down the river. There's pollution, toxins, agricultural runoff that's really impacting the water quality. And or there's dams, things that are just blocking, the flow of the river.
For the Kern River, the report for the endangered river list found the main issue where there is no water flowing is it has been diverted to the agricultural fields before getting to the lower part. Amy Merrill, the interim director for the California program with American Rivers, explains that although the drought makes things worse, as we have seen drier years affect the state's water supply, the underlying threat specifically in California is the overallocation of water. And how the water is allocated is the main dispute.
And so we use that water, all residents use it for drinking, for irrigating their lawns and their landscape. And so having that riverbed actually improves our groundwater system that we use on a daily basis.
Matthew Mary, a hydrogeologist and volunteer with Bring Back the Kern, which is a local group advocating for water to run through the lower portion of the river in Bakersfield, says it's a bad idea to continue to deplete groundwater resources and that unlike other rivers on the list, the solution may be easier.
The engineering is much easier here because all we have to do is switch the gates and set agreements up among all the stakeholders. Let some of that water down. We don't have to worry about water quality as much as some of the other rivers.
Mary adds at the moment the solution would be to let about 15 to 20% of the water flow down to the lower part of the river, but noting those that currently have legal jurisdiction over the water must agree. In this case, those stakeholders are represented by the Sustainable Kern River Coalition. In response to the report findings, the founding member of the coalition and general manager of the North Kern Water Storage District, David Hampton, said in part, quote, "Sending water down the Kern River through Bakersfield year-round will require some serious trade-offs that impact us all. The Kern River is fully tapped. If it's dry through Bakersfield, that's because it's working hard to support the livelihood of Kern's people, including Bakersfield, amidst one of the most intense droughts California has ever seen." And meanwhile, Amy Merrill hopes the list serves as a call to action to combat the threats these rivers face.
Where there's real challenges to our biodiversity, to supporting our fish and wildlife, we can all put our shoulders to the wheel and make a change.
And meanwhile, across the state, 3 of the 10 rivers on that list are in California. And coming up at 6, we'll have more on what those rivers are and what the organization that made the list says could be the solution. Live in Central Bakersfield, Vonnie Patino, 23 ABC News, connecting you.